Hi everyone. In this video we'll try to learn aggregate function. I consider this topic as the second most important topic in SQL. The first most important topic I consider as join, and the second most important topic I consider as aggregate function, right? So let us try to understand what is aggregate function. First of all, we need to understand what is a function, right? So I'll give you a layman example to understand what is a function. जब आप अपनी बाइक को सर्विस कराने के लिए किसी मैकेनिक के पास जाते हैं तो आप मैकेनिक से कहते हैं कि दिस इज़ व्हाट माय बाइक इज़ एंड प्लीज़ सर्विस इट. आप उसे ये नहीं कहते कि कार्बोरेटर भी क्लीन कर देना, बाइक को वॉश भी कर देना, ऑयल भी कर देना, ग्रीसिंग भी कर देना, राइट? दैट पर्सन, दैट मैकेनिक नोज हिज जॉब. Exactly similar way function works in any of the coding language. You have a predefined function, you just have to call him and that function will do its job, right? That's the same point with aggregate function. Now why aggregate function? So the meaning of aggregate function is whenever we have to do some mathematics, whenever we have to play with some numbers, then we use aggregate function, right? So what are the 5 aggregate functions that we have available? The first aggregate function that we have is sum, then we have average, then we have max, then we have mean, and then we have count, right? There are certain rules to understand when you want to learn aggregate function, and you need to follow those rules, then only you will be able to write the code for aggregate function. Aggregate function only returns a single value. आपके पास एक कॉलम में 14 rows हैं and you have passed that column in the aggregate function, in the sum aggregate function. So it will take all the values from the table for that column, or it will take all the values from that column and it will pass you only a single value. This is the most golden rule that you need to understand. They are also called as group function. Why group function? Because it is taking multiple values and giving you only a single value as an output. They are contradictory to single row function, right? Now there is a concept in SQL which is called single row function. We will be learning that single row function, but just for time being, you need to understand that aggregate functions are completely opposite to single row functions. Alright, and the aggregate function will get multiple values as an input and it will only return you a single value in the output. You can understand this thing from this diagram. At the input side, I'm giving 10 rows and at the output, I'm only getting a single row as an output. Many input and only one output as far as aggregate function is concerned, right? Now in the next video, we'll try to run the code and we'll try to understand how you can learn aggregate function, how you can use aggregate function, and how you can get your desired data. Thank you so much for watching.